And I well done. Oh. This one are the continuation of Watin programming B. In our last class, we talk about the basics of programming, whereby we explain how programming language they interact with one another. But for today's class, we dey talk about wetin programming language itself be. Now to start, programming language na one kind language wey people fit use to learn computer, how e go take work and do better things. Meaning say we dey use programming language dey tell computer wetin e go do. Because the only thing wey, if you remember for our last class, I tell you na say the only thing wey computer understand na zeros and one. So in order for us to fit give instruction to computer, we need programming language. E be like say na the middleman between person and computer. Wetin I mean be say na programming language dey act as the person wey dey in between a computer and a human being. Meaning wetin you dey type directly to a computer, computer no understand. But for computer to fit interpret that thing to wetin e go later understand, we need something like a programming language. Na im serve as an interpreter, as a translator wey dey take wetin we write for human language, example like English or French, convert am to wetin the computer go later understand and interpret back to us. As you dey use programming language, you fit write code or instruction wey computer go fit understand and follow. Meaning say we dey use programming language give computer instruction wey im go follow, wey im go fit take execute. Dis go fit include creating softwares, app, website or making the computer solve problems. Example of programming language na Python, Java, C++ or JavaScript. All of dis thing wey I just mention so na the type of languages wey we get, wey we take dey translate wetin human being write into wetin the computer go fit understand. Now to further understand more, we need to talk about something wey we dey call syntax. Now wetin we dey call syntax? Now programming language get one set of rules and agreements wey dey call syntax. Dis syntax na im go show you how you go take arrange instructions. E include rules for how you go write statement, define variable and talk how control go work. Wetin dis thing simply mean be say, let's imagine say person dey write for English or person dey write for French or person dey write for Yoruba, Hausa or Igbo. There are some certain ways wey we take dey write something, especially when you dey talk something for English language. If you want, there are some words wey be say if you wan talk those sen ten ces for pidgin or you wan talk am for Yoruba or for Hausa or for Igbo, the way wey you take arrange am for English, e go dey different way from the way you take dey arrange am for Yoruba. And that's because we dey follow the syntax of that language to take determine how we go take speak or write that language. Example, na me I talk say I'm a boy. If you wan talk I'm a boy for Yoruba now, you go talk say ọmọkùnrin ni mí. Now if you see the way we take talk am, the way wey dey front e dey different from the way wey dey back, and the way we take arrange am for pidgin or for English e different from the way we take arrange am for Yoruba. All of those things na the rules wey dey guide how we take dey write that language. So the same thing apply to programming language. Programming language sef get set of rules wey dem dey follow to take interpret wetin human being talk, wetin the computer go understand. So na wetin we dey call syntax, that is the way we take dey write. Now under that same programming language, we get something wey we dey call semantics. Now wetin we dey refer to as semantics? Semantics na im define the meaning of these instructions wey person write for programming language. That is wetin that thing wey you write for programming language, wetin go later be, wetin the computer go later understand as wetin you write. Na wetin we dey call what? Semantics. E show wetin each instruction suppose mean and how computer suppose take run am. So na wetin we dey call semantics be that. Wetin you write, the way wey you take write am, and after you write am, how computer go take execute am in order to get result. Na wetin we dey call wetin? Semantics. However, there are some things wey we dey call keys and operators. Keys and operators na things wey be say we dey use dey perform in programming language. Keywords na reserved keyword. Now programming language carry along some preset keywords and operators wey dey do specific operations. For example, keyword like if, while and for, we dey use them for controls, that's control flow. Dey control the informations wey we dey pass through computer and how things work. While operators like plus and minus dey use for wetin we dey call arithmetic operators. That means if you wan do calculation, addition, subtraction, you dey use dis arithmetic operators. We get many others. If you look under the design wey I give you for here, you go see say there is a lot of operators. These are just some of them, and we get a lot of keyword. Now the keyword wey we dey use, e dey determined by the programming language wey you dey work with. There are some keyword wey dey wey be say from programming language no dey use am, while some programming language dey use am. But what you need to know be say dem dis keyword they are reserved words. Those words we don reserve am for programming alone. Now let's talk about wetin we dey call variables and data types. Now make I first talk about data type before I talk about variables. But data type na like, okay, make I define am dis way. Programming language allow developers to talk how dem go take store and work with data using wetin dey call variable. That means if you wan save something inside one small place, whereby anytime wey you need am you go call am. We dey call dat thing variable for programming language. Data types like integer, float, number, strings, array na the kind of data wey we fit store inside the variable. But make we know wetin be the similarities between variables and data types. Now data type, imagine say you wan write English. If you wan write English, the character wey we dey use for English na ABC and 1, 2, 3. That is the alphabet and the numerals, the numbers. Now dis things na im we dey call how we take dey represent words, numbers for English language. French get im own, Chinese get im own, same as every other language. So however, all of these things, the way we take dey represent character for programming language na im we dey call data type. Apart from that, we get something wey we dey call variables. Variables na container wey we take dey use dey store data. That means if you wan save all of this information, you dey store them inside something wey we dey call variables. Now let's talk about function and procedures. Now what are functions and what are procedure? Now plenty programming language support the creation of function, meaning no be all programming language support am, but some programming language support am. Or procedures, dem be blocks of code wey fit work again and again. Meaning if you get some instruction wey you write, wey e be say you no wan dey repeat yourself over and over again, we dey use something like function to take create those processes, those procedures, so that anytime wey you need am, you just need to call am and execute, instead of you to dey rewrite that entire code over and over again. So dem be block of code wey you fit work again and again. You fit call them with specific input wey we dey call it argument. When we get deeper into this programming language, we go still talk about am. But this one na to just introduce you to them. Making them perform one particular task or the other. So functions always accept input in order to get output. However, if you see some block of code wey you be say you dey notice say you dey rewrite them again and again and again and again, instead of you to dey rewrite them, just use function and procedure to take do them. Now let's talk about libraries and frameworks. Every programming language get wetin we dey call libraries and framework, wey be say dem don build to make the using of this programming language easy. So programming language usually get standard libraries wey get code wey dem don write already for common tasks. That means there are some things wey dem notice say people dey always dey do over and over. So to save you the stress of doing it or writing the code yourself, they don build some libraries and frameworks to take perform those work. Plus developers fit carry and share libraries and framework to add extra power to how the language take work. That means if you wan make more performance to how your programming language take dey work, you need these libraries and frameworks. Now let's talk about development tools. Development tools na set of softwares wey developers fit use to create, debug or and maintain software applications and system. E dey help developers with different tasks to make sure say this development works smoothly. We get two type of editors, that's tools, technologies wey we take dey use, software wey we take dey use dey build the right code, programming language code. Those software na wetin we dey call development tools. So we get two basic types. We have wetin we dey call plain text editor and na the IDEs. Na the plain text editors na the one wey dey follow machine computer come. That means if you install operating system, dem dey come automatic with am. While IDEs wey we dey call integrated development environment, those ones get built-in automation tools. Meaning you no need to dey write some code all by yourself. You fit write one or two characters and e go automatically compute am for you. And sometimes if you get error, dem go fit tell you some error, say this one get error, this one get error. but no be all error we dey solve. But e different from the protest editor wey be say e no go help you. Any code wey you write, the way you take write am na so e go be. If you get error, e no go tell you. Na you go dey check the errors dem yourself. Those one na im we dey call plain text editors. Now let's talk about programming paradigm. That means programming paradigm means say we get different type of programming language and their use case and the way wey we take dey use dem dey differently. Now programming language dey of ten group into programming paradigm like the procedural, object-oriented and functional and logical programming. Now that means there are different type of programming languages. Now all of them no dey work the same way. All of them get their strength and their weaknesses. So if you see under each programming language, each programming get im own way to solve problem and organize code. That means this one get the own way to dey write am, dey do am. Now majority of programming language dey use more than one paradigm. That one no mean say you no fit use am for multiple places. But most importantly, every programming language get where e take fit work and where e no fit work. And if you look through the diagram wey I put here, you go see the differences that we get wetin we dey call imperative programming paradigm and get wetin we dey call declarative programming paradigm. And under declarative, we have many others. And under imperative, we get many others. So if you go deep into am, check them out, make you know how they take dey work differently. Now make we talk about compiler and interpreter. Remember we talk say programming language na middleman. That means na im dey serve as the middleman wey dey work, wey dey collect code wey you write in English, convert am to zeros and one wey the machine itself understand. Now programming language dey work through two type of things. We dey call am interpreter, we dey call the other one compiler. So there is a difference between interpreter and compiler. So wetin be the difference? Compiler is dey turn source code into machine code by byte code before you go run am. While interpreter dey carry code line by line and e go do what? E go run am once. That means e go take the code one line, interpret am, take the other one, interpret am, take the other one, interpret am. Unlike compiler, compiler go take the entire code wey you write, e go pack all of them together and interpret them once. Na the difference between compiler and interpreter be that. Remember, interpreter dey go line by line, but compiler go gather everything and interpret am once. Depending on the programming language you dey use, will determine which type of translator you dey use. E fit be compiler, e fit be interpreter. Now, platform portability. Some programming language no get wahala with platform, meaning say code wey you write for this language fit work for any operating system and hardware without the need to make much changes. But there are some programming language, example like Swift. Swift no fit work for Windows. They only work on iOS and Mac operating system because they are platform dependent. But there are some programming language, example like Python, JavaScript. They no dey look programming language before they work. So some programming language get platform portability, meaning regardless of the platform, regardless of the operating system wey dey use, those programming language go work on top them. Now for conclusion, programming language wey people sabi well well include Python, JavaScript, C++, JavaScript, Ruby and Go and plenty others. Every language get im own power, weakness and area wey e fit use. This one dey make them good for different kind of project and works. Programmers dey choose programming languages based on things like wetin the project need, wetin dem like, how e go perform and the specific wahala wey dem dey try solve. Make person sabi plenty programming language fit help, yes, e go help you. The developer go fit work for different areas and solve plenty different wahala. However, I dey always tell people say no try be everywhere. Choose one career wey you wan be, stay there. Instead of saying you wan do this, you wan do that, you wan do this, you wan do that, e go no make you fit track yourself well. That means you go get different thing for top of table. And you know all these languages, dem dey develop them and every day dem dey upgrade them. If you dey move from one programming language and you no get the one wey be your strength, I no talk say make you no get idea. Try get idea of other languages, but make one your strength so that e go be wetin dem know you for. Because all programming language dey get strength every day by day, and if you no dey follow the trend, dem go leave you behind. And if you get any other thing wey you wan ask me, abeg I go like make una follow this channel, like am, share am, tell una friends about am because we go do more video. However, if anything no dey clear to una about wetin we talk, or you get wetin you wan advise us say make we do, abeg use the comment section wey dey below, put am there, like and share so that we go fit give you feedback. Thank you very much and have a nice day.